Da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum. What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again for another game preview, another special Kickstarter preview. And today I'm very excited to check out the Exceed fighting system from Level 99 Games. This is for 2 players. It'll take about 10 to 30 minutes to play, and it's for ages 13 plus. And in the Exceed fighting system, this is a new fighting system created by Level 99 Games, the creators of the Legends of Indyne fighting system, or the BattleCons fighting system, I believe is what it's called. So on Kickstarter, right now in this, you're going to be taking one combatant versus another combatant and fighting to the death with pre-constructed decks. Sound intriguing? Let's open it up and I'll show you how it works. Alright then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of the Exceed fighting system from Level 99 Games. Before we get started, I do want to mention that this is the promotional copy in front of me, so take everything you see here with a grain of salt. Obviously your rulebook is going to look much nicer, and you are going to have double the amount of heroes that I have here, so you can play tag team duels, which I was not able to do. Because I only have 2. I have Alice versus Reese. But first and foremost, let's get to our handy-dandy rule booklet. It's 2 pages, single-sided, full color, full pictures, illustrations, examples, and it's pretty well done. I think if you've played games like this before, it will make a lot of sense. If you haven't, you might have to read it once or twice before you really start to understand everything going on here. But it's not really that complex of a game. So essentially in this game, what you're going to do is one of you is going to take control of one character, and one of you is going to take control of the other character. In this particular one, I have 2 ladies who will be duking it out. We have Alice and Reese from, I think this is actually from some pre-established anime universe, which I'm not exactly, I don't know, but I imagine they're going to have a lot of different characters in this game, and they are going to fight to the death, or until someone has to reshuffle 2 times. So each character is going to start off with 30 health, and I don't actually have health here, but what we used was D10 dies, and you can just kind of manipulate the health that way. Also, you lose the game if you lose all your health, or if you have to reshuffle your deck of cards a second time. So, in this game, you are going to start on the 3rd and the 7th spot. And you're going to have this little board right here, which is going to, these cards right here, which are going to represent your board that you are fighting on, your map, so to speak. Now, normally yours are actually going to be like this, but for the sake of camera space, I'm setting them up like this. It works perfectly fine. You're going to be moving around the board, playing cards out of your hand, attacking people, defending from attacks, trying to set yourself up in a position to win. We'll go over the components, then we'll go a little bit into the gameplay. So first and foremost, you're going to get cards, cards, and more cards. That is all you're going to get in this game. You have the cards that are going to do the board. You're going to have a rules reference card, double-sided. These are really useful. They will help you out through various different points in the game. And then you're going to have your starting deck, which is going to be encompassed by 30 cards. There's going to be a couple different kinds of cards. First, you're going to have cards that are exclusive to you, and they will have your face in the upper right-hand corner. You're going to have 2 of each. So, for instance, you'd have a sword and cross. And these are going to be decently powerful cards. Also, if you pair them together, they will become even more powerful, but I'll get more to that potentially a little bit later. Next, you're going to have these cards right here, which will have special backs around the outside. As you can see, they are colored on the outside. These are going to be even more powerful. So as you can see, this one has a range of 2, but this one has 9 power, so that's how much damage you're going to do to your opponent. And 9 damage, that's a lot of damage considering you're only going to have 30 damage. Also, the speed. Now, the speed is how fast you're going to be attacking, because this is kind of a dual... you're going to be fighting each other at the same time. I'm not exactly sure what the word is. So even if you are the attacker, you still potentially can take damage if the other person doesn't get stunned and they decide to fight back and they have a card that is going to allow them to fight back. Some other things I want to take note of the cards are these number right up here. That is going to be the cost. That's your gauge cost. Now, what is gauge? Gauge is going to be when you attack other people. When you successfully attack other people, you'll put a card down to represent that you have 1 gauge. If you have 3 gauge, you'll be able to do this surprise punishment, which will allow you to hurt someone very, very badly. Generally, though, you're going to have to spend your cards in order to do what is called force, and that is the most frequent currency in the game. It's represented by this little symbol down here on the bottom left. So in order to do this, you would have to discard 1 card in order to do that. So attack at range 3 and 4 do not hit you. So this essentially is a defense card. So that would be an instant one that you can do. Some will be instant, some will be persistent until you decide to use them, and they will build up and get more powerful. But I'm getting off track. So you're also going to have generic cards that everyone is going to have. They will be denoted by the up in the right-hand corner. They're going to have a shape. So as you can see, this one has a diamond, a triangle. That's a shape as well. I'm sure this is a shape. You can tell I'm not too good at my shapes. But each player is going to have those cards. So everybody's going to have their own guard cards, their own, oh wow, why can't I find it? Their own spike cards, their own assault cards. And so you know when those cards are going to be coming. Well, you know that the other opponent has those cards in their hand. And generally, those cards are ones you're going to be using to discard for force, but some of them will come in handy from time to time. So when you first start the game, one's going to start on the 3rd, one's going to start on the 7th, and you're going to put your player card on there. That's going to represent your character who's going to be moving around the board and fighting. Now, you might also notice that there's a number down here. That's another gauge cost, because if you are able to, well, you always are going to have this special ability down here that you're going to have the option to potentially use. But if you spend 3 gauge, then boom, now you are in exceed mode, which means you're going to now be more powerful, and you're going to be more likely to kill your opponent because, well, that's what this game is about. So, that's what you're going to be getting in the game. You're going to take your 30 cards, you're going to shuffle them up, and then you're going to draw 5 cards. The second player is actually going to get to draw 6 cards, and then you are going to start the game. And on your turn, you are going to have 2 options, but that's actually kind of a lie. You're more kind of going to have 8 options. The 2 main options you're going to be able to do are you're going to be able to take an action, or you're going to be able to do a strike. And when you do a strike, we'll get into that first, you're going to play one of the cards from your hand face down, and then your opponent is going to play one of the cards from their hand face down, and you are going to dance. Now, you might potentially play 2 of the cards in your hand face down, because as I mentioned, if you play 2 of the same cards, which I actually don't have any in my hand, then that is going to give you +1 to like everything on your card. And that's a really good thing to do, especially with the weaker cards. But this is a guard card, so that's a terrible example. But anywho, you're going to reveal at the same time, and depending on who has the most speed, whoever has the most speed is going to attack first. And if they're able to successfully stun their opponent, then the other opponent won't get to do a counter-attack. So it's a matter of, do I want to do a really powerful, slow attack, or am I worried that I'm going to be able to stun my opponent, or am I worried that my opponent's going to act fast and potentially attack me? There's a lot of back and forth in this sort of game, as you would expect in a head-to-head card game. So you are going to be attacking each other, so that's your first action, is that you are going to be able to attack it. You can also do what's called, I think it's like a drunken swing or something like that. I think it's a blind swing, where you just do the top card of your deck, which can yield some pretty interesting results, I must say. But that is just an option that I wanted to mention because we had a lot of fun doing that as well. So back to take an action, and this is where it was kind of a lie, where it said there's only 2 things you can do on your turn, because there are numerous different actions you can do. The first one you can do is you can just prepare, and that means you just draw an extra card, bada boom, put it in your hand, and that was a pretty quick and concise turn, but this is a pretty quick game. Next, you can move, and the way you move is you're going to have to spend force, and as we remember, force means you're going to be discarding cards into your discard pile. And you'll be able to, there's 4 different types of movement you can do. You can like close in on your opponent, you can run away from your opponent, you can jump over your opponent, potentially, if you have enough force to do that. You may never share a spot with your opponent, though. That is one of the big rules in the game. I actually misplayed that the first time we did that, and that led to some confusion, and then we figured out that we were all morons, but luckily we only wasted about 25 minutes because the game does play so briskly. Next, you can boost. That is going to be using a card's boost effect, which are going to be on the cards down here, and these will generally be very powerful. They will help you out at various different points, both on offense and on defense. You can change cards, which is going to allow you to spend force to draw more cards. So essentially, if you have cards in your hand that maybe you don't want, like the generic cards, or you might be particularly looking for one specific card. Like, let's just say that you're behind and you need a knockout blow. So maybe you're looking for one of these cards right here with a power of 13, because maybe you've saved up your gauge so you can do that. Then that is what you might be looking for there. Generally, that's not an action you take too frequently unless you're specifically looking for a certain type of cards. Next, you can exceed, which is when you're going to spend your gauge to do stuff like that, because as we mentioned, you can spend gauge. Next, you can reshuffle. Now, reshuffling is another way that you can lose the game, which I mentioned a little bit earlier. So you're going to have 1 free reshuffle during the game. And generally, you want to do that when your discard pile has a lot of cards in it. However, sometimes you might say, all right, all my powerful cards are in my discard pile right now, so I'm actually going to reshuffle right now. But the catch is, you may only reshuffle once throughout the game. And if you reshuffle twice, then you automatically lose the game. And those are going to be the actions that you're going to be able to take. So you're going to go back and forth, either taking an action or striking each other, laying down cards, playing defense, running around the board, flipping into exceed mode, trying to kill your opponent off by getting 30 points of damage, or by forcing them to shuffle twice, which is kind of out of your hand a little bit. But anywho, that in a nutshell is how the Exceed fighting system works. Alrighty then, the Exceed fighting system for level 99 games. Currently on Kickstarter right now. Be sure to post the Kickstarter link down below. Who might be digging this game? First and foremost, if you like two-player, head-to-head combative games where you're trying to outwit, outsmart, outkill your opponent, this one definitely might be for you. Also, if you like those games, but you like them to be brisk, baby, this one will definitely fit that bill. This is a very quick playing game. It says 10 to 30 minutes, and once you get about 3-4 games under your belt, it really does fit in that time frame. You were just going to be boom, 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 boom. Oh, you're dead. Let's get our cards, reshuffle it up, and let's do it again. It is a very quick playing game. It's the kind of game that if you have someone who really likes this game, it's the kind of thing where you can knock out 2, 3, 4 games at a time and not even think about it. It just goes by very quickly. Last but not least, it is a fighting system, which is always a cool concept to me because that means they're going to be able to plug in lots of different characters from different genres, different IPs, lots of different animes, different TV shows. Who knows? Whenever they can get their hands on, they can plug them into this game so you can have all these cool fights between various different characters from various different things, which is always a cool thing, at least to me personally. So that is the Exceed fighting system from Level 99 Games. It's currently on Kickstarter right now. Be sure to check it out. It looks like it might be your cup of tea. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below and in the comments below. Let me know. Do you like rubber bands? Me personally, I hate rubber bands. I had terrible memories of childhood being flicked with them, and I got hit in the eye once, and I had to go to the nurse. Bad news. And then I put them on my stupid cards, and they kind of wear away at the outside of the cards, and they break, and then you got that stupid. No, I like hair ties better. But maybe you personally, do you like rubber bands? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks for your time, YouTube.